Hello, so let's start from a scheme. I'm going to show you a few schemes how you can make it happen and make your horse looking like a horse, okay? There are, of course, many drawings that you can use on the websites, how to draw the horse, and it's a little bit different when you can draw this freehand on a piece of paper because you're relatively free. If it comes to space. If it comes to nails, we are quite limited because the nails is short. Very often we don't have this rectangle space. We have just a rectangle, let's say, but in this way, and we need to fit so many features into our nail to make it happen. So I'm going to show you a few schemes how you can do it, because once we have our tip, we're going to start from a little sketch. And then if you do the sketch, which won't be visible later, will be easier for you to then fill this in with the cat eye gel polish, okay, or any gel polish. So now I'm going to do, I'm going to draw the nail, because if we have the nail, it will be easier for us to make it happen. So the first way, okay, this is way number one, okay? What you do, you just need to create for yourself a little triangle, but this is imagined triangle, or you can draw it on the tip, and then later you will just remove it, okay? Now, from our triangle, this part, we will just like cut away the top, okay? And we're first going to do our few lines. First, we need to make sure we have the neck of our horse, okay? And from the neck, we'll create the line like this. And that will be our neck, okay? Then from here, we'll make our nose. We'll just cut it here. That will be our mouth straight. And then we'll connect like this, and head is done. You see, really easy. We already have it done. Now, when you're going to draw the triangle, make sure your triangle is even. Okay, so you should have these three arms of the triangle all the same. Okay, and why is that important? Because if you want to use this scheme on the triangle, you cannot have the situation that your triangle is like that. Because if you follow this scheme, you will have the like a cow face, if that makes sense, because the features of the all of these animals are roughly similar. Okay, it's a donkey, cow, horse, etc., etc. But the length of the whole head is really what makes it different. So if you really want to make it look like a horse, make sure you have the you have relatively even lines. Okay. And then from here, we're going to make our ears. And then one ear will be following this line. Okay, so it's the same. The second one is just a triangle, just a triangles, okay? Nothing special. And then in here, we'll make like a round shape. And that will be for our, head, for our hair, okay? So that will be it. And then from here, we are going to make our hair as well, okay? Here later we'll add some shading, etc. So that's really not an interest because this part is relatively round. Okay, so we're going to draw, will be roughly like this one. Now the eye, I would say eye is relatively high in a horse, okay? Is there the few ways of measuring where the eye is supposed to be? I like to have the eye roughly in this line. When my cheek is finishing, like in here will be the eye, and the eye in our case here will be just the one in that shape. Okay, just the one eye. Okay, we have the eye. Now here in our mouth, we'll have a little smile, and we'll have the nostril. Okay, and that's really it. This is all what you need to know when it comes to drawing the horse, because we do not do any details. What we do though, we make in our cat eye shaded, so we'll add a little extra features. Okay, so this part will be rounded and will be separated, etc., and will make our hair beautiful. Okay, so it looks gorgeous without extras. Okay, so this is the scheme number one. Okay, I hope it's understandable and will be easy to repeat. And I will encourage you to first to do some little drawing, so you will get used to the features, okay, and where to place what. And once you have this one, it will be super easy to repeat, okay. And again, when you have the nail that is a little bit longer, a little bit shorter, maybe you want to do some hair in here to fill up the space. This is all possible, okay. It's not a problem making the hair a little bit longer, okay, something like that. It's all good, okay. So the more artistic, I think, the better. But our main features are there. So we have the head that is relatively long. This one now looks like a unicorn, just need a horn. And then we have the hair, we have the eye, we have the big nostril, we have the smiley face. Okay, so you see, all from the simple shape. Now let's do our method number 2, and that will be just different shape of the hair of the horse. Okay, so because of course doesn't have to be just one, you can do one or you can do two, etc., etc. Okay, so what we're going to do first, we need to decide about the size of our head. Okay, so just in the middle, I'm going to place just in the middle, just like a little round shape. Okay, and this will be my head. Now I'm going to do a little bit smaller, so I would say half of the size, maybe 1/3 of the size. Let's say half of the size of this circle, okay? So this first step, this shape, remember, they don't have to be perfect. They just need to be, okay? Because then later we'll do our outline. We just need to make sure we're going to place our head in the right spot, okay? Now we're going to connect our parts like this, okay? And we're going to draw the ears. So the ears roughly will be half of it. Okay, that will be my first one, and then the second one behind it. Okay, and then from here I'm going to have my neck and going towards my body of the horse, and here the other part. Horse is done. Okay, we don't need to really do anything else. So now let's make it as it will be our proper scheme. So that will be our head, neck. Here roughly will be our eye, and that will be somewhere you see where the cheek is, so that will be our eye. Our nostril, big nostril, smile, and then my ear. The way inside the ears we're going to do later the shading like this one. And here again will be my hair, and then here another one. Here it is, horse is done. You see? So this is actually much easier than you all think. And then later you will see from my cat eye, how I'm using the cat eye, how you make sure all of these features are there. But when you know how to make schemes, it's much easier. So later we're of course going to define our horse and put the head a little bit into life, but adding extra features from our cat eyes. But other than that, through this guide, you can make any horse. I'm going to show you one more one, and this will be for the horse that is looking to us face up front, okay? Because that is not as easy to do it from the circles. I found it easier to do it from the diamond shape, okay? So first of all, I need to have my tip. And what I'm going to do first, because my face will be roughly on the full tip, okay? Roughly, it's really important to know. So what I will know, I'll first divide my tip, what I will do, into 4, and then this part, and this part, okay? So I have so many parts of my tip, and I will also make this one as well. And this is for you to maybe later look once you draw it, and maybe later you will look at this one and be like, okay, this is what I'm doing, okay? So this part I will first divide into smaller, this part, okay? And what I'm going to do, I'm going to create the, maybe just here a little bit smaller. I'm going to create a rhomboid, just like this, okay? In this way, this will be my first part. In this way, I will have all of my horse features in the right spot, okay? If I will do the rhomboid like that, okay? So let's start with the eyes. Here will be my eyes. Of course, we'll make them all into shape. Here I will make my nostrils. Following my nostrils, I'll have my, this looks a little bit weird, but I promise you it will look better. Following my nostrils, I will have my, and the nostrils will actually finish roughly here. Following my nostrils, I'll have the shape of my mouth, okay? Here I will have a little round space for my cheeks, okay? They're quite important. And here I will have the rest of my head and the ears. Okay, so now let me show you how I will draw it on the nail. Okay, so on the nail I'll do the head, and here inside will be my hair, so no one will really see it. I don't need to have this corner in here. Here I'll have my, should be this way, one eye, another eye, and these eyes won't be as much visible, okay? Now this part needs to be relatively long, so we don't want to create our cow's face. We want to create our horse face, okay? So our mouth, and these are all like rectangle with just a little bit of roundness in here. A little smile we need. We need the ears. The ears are simple, okay? Do not overthink that. And here from the eyes to the nostrils to the nose, they are just a shading like this. Okay? And of course, outside we can make the hair and we can make the body on the one side, or we can make the body on the other side. Okay? The rest is really not anything that we need to know. Okay? This is our nose. So this is really how I draw it, okay? So let's start to talk what cat eye you need for your drawing.